So in February 2018, Buddy MP was finally released to the world after 3 long years in development, but how well is Buddy MP holding up a year later? Well, in today's video that's exactly what I'm going to be covering, so let's get on with it. And yes, you can consider this video a sequel to that Red Dead Redemption multiplayer one I did last year. Now this video has 2 parts. The first part is my experiences of Buddy MP and the second part is my review on it, so that's why this video is quite long. Anyway, let's begin. I loaded up Buddy MP as you would normally and, well, there was no one playing, so we're off to a terrible start already. Now I found this kind of odd since 2 AM UK time is like 8 PM in America I believe, well depending on which part of the US at least, and as I'm making the part of the video it's nearly about half past midnight in Brazil. And upon joining a server by yourself it just feels really, well, strange. The entire world of Bulworth is devoid of all life, no one exists except for you and the vehicles. In some ways it actually feels like you're playing a test version of Buddy since you can drive cars, change skins at will, spawn weapons and all that good stuff. But that's the thing, since Buddy MP is, well, Buddy multiplayer, it becomes boring by yourself and you don't really have anything to do. You don't have any of the things you can do in single player, so you just find yourself quitting pretty quickly. I spent about 5 minutes just driving around waiting for somebody to join and they didn't, so I just quit. So I'll try again when I wake up in the morning, or afternoon, hopefully there'll be some Europeans playing then. After a horrible night's sleep, I went back on Buddy MP at 11:45 AM and there were only 3 people playing at the time, all on the free roam server. Now as Buddy MP doesn't have a lobby system, even just having 3 other players is good because you can still have some fun with a small amount of players. Anyway, upon joining I realised someone noticed me and we had a very small chat about Buddy MP being dead. Even though there were only 4 of us on the server and well, Johnny Vincent was riding around by himself and I couldn't find the other 2 people, so I guess they might have been friends, I don't know. But either way, it still felt largely as I did when I played at 2 AM as all I was doing was just riding around stunting on a blue BMX, not really doing anything. So I'll try again later today. I hopped on Buddy MP for the 3rd time and there were still only 3 players. Though this time all the players were in the same location and I'd say it's the exact same experience as before. Now I did try Buddy MP one last time at 10 past midnight and it was back to 0. I didn't even bother joining a server this time, so I just quit. So in conclusion, Buddy MP is dead, which is actually a real shame since there's so much potential and effort put into Buddy MP by the team and seeing it neglected so quickly is, well, really depressing. So how did Buddy MP die so quickly? Well, before I explain how, please remember I'm not trying to slander the developers here. They did a fantastic job with Buddy multiplayer and they deserve a lot of praise for even accomplishing to add online multiplayer to Buddy to begin with. Seriously, adding a fully functional multiplayer mode to an 11-year-old PS2 port is no walk in the park. Now for this part I'll be comparing Buddy to the likes of GTA San Andreas multiplayer and Fug Pro, 2 other massive made community mods for PS2 era games. Now MODDABILITY played a massive role as to why Fug Pro and San Andreas multiplayer succeeded, as Fug Pro has practically ported every single map from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 all the way to Tony Hawk's Project 8 into Tony Hawk's Underground 2 in one insanely massive map pack, complete with the ability to have your own custom soundtracks, play online with massive Tony Hawk fans, or even other map imports made by fans instead of waiting for the next update. Now San Andreas multiplayer on the other hand has so many game modes to choose from: basic free roaming, stunting, role-playing, cops vs robbers, racing. The possibilities of San Andreas multiplayer are truly endless. And not to mention San Andreas multiplayer has support for most mods, so you can still use most of your favourite mods online without any issue. It also has built-in anti-cheat, so it keeps the server a fair experience for all. Now sadly, this is where Buddy itself falls incredibly flat. Buddy is nowhere near as moddable as Tony Hawk's Underground 2 or GTA San Andreas. Now this might be because Buddy uses a GameBro engine instead of renderware like San Andreas has, but either way it really cripples the potential for Buddy multiplayer in my opinion. Buddy modding itself has only really got custom script mods and character models. There's just nothing as big as like, full on custom maps or the ability to add features, animations or anything. Just scripts and characters. Compared with Fug Pro, which as mentioned had custom soundtracks, fully imported maps, customizable HUD, or GTA San Andreas with like Clio, custom maps, vehicles, models, sounds, practically everything in San Andreas is moddable. And no, that is not the fault of the developers either. This is Buddy as a whole I'm talking about, not Buddy MP. Buddy has always been lacking massively in the modding department. Hell, I think custom character models only started surfacing in like 2016, which is about 8 years after the PC version of Buddy came out. Without being as customizable as Fug Pro or San Andreas multiplayer, there's very little to return to Buddy for in terms of fresh new content for the game. Like, I would argue that mods are the reason as to why games like Fallout New Vegas and GTA San Andreas are still massively played to this very day, because thousands of mods exist for those games which add all kinds of stuff like new maps, new stories, characters, etc. I also apologise for getting a bit off topic here, but I hope you understand what I mean when I say that I do think that moddability did cripple Buddy MP a bit. And that's not a fault with Buddy MP, but you know, just Buddy itself and you know how small the modding community is. Now, as mentioned just, one of the reasons San Andreas multiplayer survived is because there's so many game modes and servers to choose from. However, much like San Andreas multiplayer, Buddy multiplayer also relies on fans setting up their own servers. I'm fairly certain if Buddy MP had role-playing and racing servers, the player base would go up quite a bit. Especially since I know role-playing is something common in the community, be it Jimmy Hopkins commenting on my YouTube videos, or people writing self-inserts on Tumblr with their own created characters. Role-playing servers are also some of the most played on San Andreas multiplayer as well. Personally, one of my favourite San Andreas multiplayer servers was perfect for me in that regard, since it had free roaming, stunting, deathmatching and racing in all in one package. Like if I'm stunting and I just want to do a race, I can just do that without having to quit. All I have to do is type a command and you know, I'm back to racing. If I want to go back to free roaming, then all I have to do is type in another command, simple as really. So you know, you get the idea on that. But as mentioned, Buddy, like San Andreas multiplayer, needs other people to set these servers up and nobody has. And no, I'm not blaming the community here for this either, because I wouldn't know how to set up a server myself. To me it looks incredibly difficult. But since nobody has, all we really have are the official Buddy MP servers of free roaming and deathmatching. And they're not bad by any means at all, they're fantastic servers of getting a taste of what Buddy multiplayer is. But much like San Andreas multiplayer, not everybody will just want to free roam. But without other, more knowledgeable fans setting up their own servers, we don't really have a lot to choose from. Which is a shame, since quite a few game modes could translate over into Buddy MP incredibly well. It's also kind of funny because this also strongly applies to Red Dead Online 2, hint hint. Buddy is available on so many platforms: PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii, PC, iOS, Android. And if you count backwards compatibility, Xbox One and the Nintendo Wii U. Now, while it is practically borderline impossible for Buddy MP to be made for the other platforms, by having it available on one platform already leaves out a large majority of Buddy's already small player base. So why is it impossible? Well, simply because those platforms are not Windows, you know, the platform Buddy MP was made for. Now, is it possible to make Buddy MP for the other platforms? Now, that is actually something I've been asked myself loads of times. Now, I just want to say that I've not worked on Buddy MP. I was a beta tester, but you know, I don't know any of this coding stuff, so... And the answer is, it's just impossible. One reason being the other ports of Buddy run on different engines and different builds of the game, with the Nintendo Wii version arguably being the earliest build, Anniversary being the latest, and the engines, which as mentioned, with Buddy on the PS2 running on Renderware, which was the same engine used for the PS2 GTA games, and runs on GameBro on PC, which is the same engine used for Fallout 3, New Vegas and Skyrim. And not to mention, the Xbox and PS3 and PS4 versions of Buddy would require a hacked console, which even if you attempt to go online, you'd probably get banned instantly, which, you know, is completely defeating the point of Buddy multiplayer. Now, Apple's iOS system is insanely locked down too, unless you have a jailbroken device, which is really hard to come by these days, and it's highly unlikely it'll ever happen. Android, however, while very easily moddable, does run a modified version of Linux. So please do not bug the Buddy MP team to port Buddy multiplayer to mobile. It's not worth it, and I don't think it's ever going to happen. Now, Buddy MP was first introduced in November 2014 and came out in February 2018. Now that's just over 3 long years in development. Now, while this is to be expected with a mod like Buddy multiplayer, sadly such a long development time could make some people just forget about it. And that, personally, I think is out of everybody's control. Like, if you see something you like, but you never really hear from it again until it comes out, you probably think to yourself, oh yeah, I remember that, I was looking forward to it, but I just forgot about it. Now, Buddy MP was mostly advertised through Spectre's channel, but only a few times a year for update stuff. Especially since he made a video literally titled Buddy Multiplayer is Not Dead. Because with such a long development time, by fans in their own spare time might I add, it kind of makes sense for people to assume Buddy Multiplayer was dead and cancelled long ago. I do wish that more people understood how insanely complicated and time consuming making a mod like this is, but what can you really do? Now, Buddy MP's release seemingly didn't have much of a hype release, as it sort of just came unexpectedly. Now, apparently, this is what I heard anyway, obviously I can't really confirm it because, you know, it's all rumours, but this was because somebody leaked beta builds of Buddy MP, which understandably infuriated the developers, who were pretty much forced to release on incredibly short notice. Now, I will say it's an incredibly dick move to leak a project like this, especially since it took years of development, but it sort of explains why Buddy MP wasn't teased for a major, more stable release. It'd be like if Rockstar released a new game mode for Red Dead Online where they literally did that exact same thing with Red Dead Online and the garbage Battle Royale mode. No teaser, just an unexpected update with the mode included. And lastly, this is the most simple one, but by having no players, it automatically turns away people who do want to play. Anybody who's played a game like Call of Duty, GTA Online or any other multiplayer game knows what I'm on about when I say this, but being forced to wait for others in an empty lobby, you'll probably just quit and go and play something else instead. No one wants to wait 10 or 20 minutes for somebody to join because you just want to enjoy yourself, especially on an extremely casual game like Buddy Multiplayer. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Buddy content. And if you want to be amazing, become a member of my channel, and I hope to see you all at the next video.